Good afternoon and welcome back to HGC Southeast Asia Qualifier for the Eastern Clash 2. I am Babel. With me is Jay How. How are you feeling, my man?
Good, man. While you guys were casting, I had some lunch. I'm reinvigorated, ready to go here.
I just had mine in under 12 minutes. But here we go. All right. So, Jay How, one of your biggest fans, is playing.
Sedia, if you're watching, how's it going?
All right. So I'm
Looking forward to watching them. It's been a while.
It's been a while. It has been, what, 3 months?
3 months now, yeah.
Yeah. Man, this region never changed.
I was reminded that was during the Lili days when Lili got the buff.
We're both glad. We're both
glad it's over.
It's gone. All right.
We're both glad it's over.
It's never coming back.
Well, the good thing is that we saw shines of greatness from Playstomp earlier, but this is the first time I've gotten to see Meowpork in a while. And, you know, they were a name that, again, when we opened the show, we talked about a lot of familiar names.
Right.
Meowpork is definitely one of those familiar names of this region.
Correct. And they did a little bit of roster swap. So what happened was Resurgence picked up Pizza from Meowpork and Meltis from nowhere. And that's Resurgence. We also have got Meowpork picking up Risotto, who previously is known as Sephiria, Simulation. Seta's playing for Malaysia as well, but he's a Singaporean just starting there. Xcarik is the Thai player, and Zessen is the captain along with Meowpork. They're both co-captains there.
Well represented from all of Southeast Asia.
I think so. They've got one Thai player, they've got one Malaysian, and 3 Singaporeans, so very even distribution from Meowpork. The other team, Playstomp. I'm excited about them because Playstomp is a name that's been around since 2015. We've heard about them for a little bit, and I'm glad that this team formed. It's got a lot of potential. Every single player there has actually attended regionals. In fact, plenty of them have attended regionals. Plenty of regionals as well. Lauda, he used to captain for Play 10 Lose 11 back in 2015 and is now back to captain his team. TNK is his fellow teammate. They are both together. And they decided to pick up his score and Perez. Perez is this kid from the Philippines. He is extremely talented on the Kerrigan. He has been playing a lot of different heroes ever since then. His hero pool has diversified a lot. And then we have Bun Bun. Bun Bun is my personal favorite player from Malaysia.
Why? Why is that?
He's one of the most hilarious guys I've actually ever met out of this country. And he speaks with a very funny accent. He's Chinese. He doesn't speak good English, but, you know, his favorite phrase is just to take the fight slow, but he says it in Chinese, and he says it with a very thick Malaysian accent that you just can't help laughing. I'm not going to pull it out here because I am bad with accents, but Bun Bun is also, he used to play with Merzays as well on, I think, Relics last year, if I'm not wrong. It was summer, along with Zazen. So they're all like former teammates, but still very good players, and they just won a game of Resurgence, so they must be feeling excited. And here we go. I'm being told that I talk too much, and the game is actually almost begun.
I think we are ready, actually.
Yeah, there we go. All right, so game number 1 going to be Battlefield of Eternity. The maps that are banned by both teams will include Tomb of the Spider Queen by Playstomp, Towers of Doom by Meowpork. So BOE it is going to be, I'm the least excited for this map right now because we just came off a game from the last series where we saw Daily Kittens play 2 times on this battleground. But still, the basics are there, Jay How.
I mean, what we saw from Playstomp in their earlier series was they love to fight. There's no doubt about that. They'll take fighting over basically anything, and this is a battleground. Well, that's basically all you do.
That's just Lauda. Lauda likes to fight. All he does is just fight. You never give up anything, but fight. And here we go, Playstomp. I'm expecting a Green Man ban. Nope, it's going to be the Oriole.
And, you know, that makes a lot of sense. We've seen a lot of high priority towards Ariel. You know, Ariel is one of those heroes you don't rely on any mana. So if you're constantly building that up, obviously it's a little weird to play around. So maybe you're prioritizing the Uther early, and therefore forcing, you know, your opponent onto somebody like a Malfurion, who's still a great hero, but he lacks Cleanse, or a Rhaegar, who lacks certain things when he gains other things in terms of the race. So we definitely see the priority. I wouldn't be surprised if they end up first picking Uther after that Oriel ban.
Yeah, I think that's going to be exciting, but still Greyman's a big problem here. And Meowpork deciding who to ban out because Malfield also does percentage-based damage on those Immortals, and it's good to see that being addressed early on.
They're spending a lot of time, and this might be they know what they're going with. They're just going to wait to ban it so they can continue to discuss what they're going to pick up next time, just take advantage of the the timer that you have for the first ban, so you can basically set up the rest of your draft. And they're taking every second of this. And they last second switch to banning Stitches. All right.
Okay. Malthael instantly gets picked up by Playstomp. So it's a sign that maybe they're regretting already. Just to point you note that they were actually playing practice, like screaming against each other, just a couple of days ago. So this information is very fresh of both of these teams' heads, and it's good to see that. I mean, I'm gonna be expecting the Greymane here.
I'm surprised they didn't go Greymane Uther, instead prioritizing the Anubrak, obviously to try and get some of that lockdown. And a lot of things that we see, if you do give up the Uther, then all of a sudden Malthael goes in, you're trying to keep him alive, you get the heals out. But if you can throw that cocoon over onto the Uther, it allows you to blow up, a priority target. And Malthael is susceptible to that burst damage. They do go into the Uther, and they pick up Vala. So far, a really strong start to the draft for both teams, I think.
You're very decent. The question here now will lie with Meowpork. What's the next phase? They want to take out the Tesla. I would 100% agree with that, because Tesla on Vala, I mean, that's just going to help Vala a lot with sustain, and just going to make sure that she has got a lot of space to make plays here. Also, Malthael is going to appreciate the extra shield as well. So taking out the Tesla makes a lot of sense. But what is it going to be here?
I would love the Tassadar so much. I mean, unless you plan on picking it up yourself, you do not want to give that up. And you said the key word, sustain. Malthael has the sustain. Vala plus a Tassadar has that sustain, plus all that armor going around. You definitely want to try and take away as much as you can from your opponent if it's not something you're going to play to. And I think that's probably going to be the best possible ban they could go with here. When it comes to warriors and things like that, maybe you could look towards an Arthas to ban out something like that. But this holds much higher priority, I think. So I love the Tassadar ban.
All right, and for Playstomp, the question here is, do they want to take out the support, or do they really not want to care? And I'm actually on board with not caring at this point.
It's kind of a weird conundrum, because you could ban out the Malfurion and force them onto something like a Rhaegar or Kharazim. If you ban out the Rhaegar, who does do well in the race, but then force out, say, the Malfurion, because the Malfurion will obviously put down the roots, which is one of the things that procs the Guardian of the Ancient Kings for Uther. So you could almost force them into playing towards yours, but also going towards theirs. The problem is Malfurion obviously is one of the best heroes to maintain in a team fight, because his mana pool's there, the consistent heals that he throws out. So it also does well when you talk about consistent healing versus the sustained damage of Vala. So it just, playing around supports can be a little bit tricky. It's not always guaranteed you'll get the value out of it.
Yeah.
We're going to see. They're not even hovering anything yet.
Yeah, I think they're equally lost. All right, there we go. The signs of a lost team. Illidan getting banned out. Illidan's not bad. I mean, he is decent under the right circumstances here, but I highly doubt it's going to be Illidan picked by Meowpork. I don't think so. Like with Anubrak, Greymane, yes, it's kind of like a little bit of a divey comp, but they don't have the correct healer to allow that kind of play, which would be the Uther or even the I mean, it could go Rhaegar with that, but still, Illidan's going to feel really weak. Okay, so 2 picks here from Meowpork. I'm thinking that they will not even pick up the Malfurion at this point. It should be looking at a little bit more of a range damage dealer.
I'd love give me a Lunara.
Yeah, that's really good.
Lunara does decent. I mean, obviously you don't go into the level 7 talent as much anymore for that extra damage, but the Splintered Spear, spreading that damage, it does do well in the race at a baseline level, and it does incredibly well against Uther. So I think you could play to a lot of strengths. I don't know if that's something they feel comfortable with, obviously with the Warrior not being picked up, so maybe you go into something auto-attack, but we're seeing double support.
Yeah, Jay-How, I forgot to let you know that Meowpork almost always plays double support. And that means that they were not even considering the Malfurion.
The fact that they don't consider the Malfurion as opposed to, I mean, both these healers have cleanse, but there's not a whole lot you need cleanse for just yet. But you have the persistent heals of Brightwing, which could also be supplemented by the same thing of a Malfurion. Malfurion also does lockdown if you go Twilight Dream. I don't know why Brightwing is prioritized as high over a Malfurion in this instance.
It could just be said, yeah. It could just be said. All right, Arthas Kharazim. double support both sides just to keep the sustain going. Arthas, of course, a very strong self-sustaining healer. The biggest problem here with this lineup from Meowpork is the fact that Anubarak has been nerfed. All right, his HP is a lot lower. We talked about this earlier, and I think Cocoon's range also has been nerfed. It's like what, 2/3 right now of its original. So the last pick here, I am expecting it to be a melee damage dealer actually.
This is just a really tricky place to put yourself into. Obviously, the Greymane is top tier on this battleground in particular. You get that immortal damage. We saw it earlier. You can split him off. You send 4 people to go defend the other. You split Greymane off. He hops into Worgen form, gets that inner beast, and he just goes to town. So there's obviously things that do work out well in particular, but if they do opt to go another solo or melee, it's Battlefield of Eternity. Leoric, Dahaka, Sonya all come out to me, but
okay,
they go more ranged.
All right. For me, it's either Thrall or Li Ming. Li Ming, well, I don't know what Li Ming is supposed to do there, but still good synergy. We've seen some good synergy between that Greymane and Li Ming before, and that really revolves around landing the Arcane up, Magic Missiles, Greymane finishing up the kill, Li Ming gets reset, she goes ham again and again and again. And it's also quite commonly seen here. But the problem why I suggested Thrall was because they have got 4 melees on that side. That would have been insane amount of slow, insane amount of value for Greymane to land those cocktails, and you still have sufficient damage in the form of a melee. The other alternative in my mind would have also been, I mean, I wasn't really thinking of melee in terms of like a warrior like Dahaka, Sonya. I don't think those would work out well. But having a range damage dealer, the alternative would have been Kilthus, because they're all melee again, and you're really not making use of the fact that they have drafted a insanely heavy melee comp. And Karazim, you know how he heals, right? He flies to people, and that's where you spread the love. That's the
one
other
way to do it. I mean, for what it's worth, Li Ming, if it ever comes to a poke battle, you kind of have that. You know, I'm looking at the drafts in particular.
True.
You know, Greymane, Li Ming, they can do really well in poke, but you have an Uberak on your side. And what's really popular on this map, if we look at the other side for Playstomp, is they picked up the Vala, and that's going to be their best sustained damage, because Malthel obviously can apply that 2%, or 2.25%, which is good as we are going to head into our game. But Vala, this is the one time where I want to see auto attack build over Q build.
Okay. I would agree. All right, so ladies and gentlemen, going into game number 1, Meowpork against Playstomp. On the blue team, it is going to be Meowpork, and we have Sadia onto the Brightwing. Meowpork will be playing as the Rhaegar. Risotto will be your warrior, and that is the Anubarak. Zessen onto Greymane. Xcarrick will be the Li Ming.
And on the right side for Playstomp, you will have Hiskoa on Malthel, TNK on Uther, Lauda on Arthas, Perez on Vala, and Bun Bun, your favorite, Babel, rounding it out on Kerosene.
All right, so this is where you're going to see a bit of an early game adventure by Playstomp. And they spot out Sadia, who immediately offers up himself. No, it's going to be fine.
Wow, they did not commit to that. I mean, they don't necessarily have the most chase down burst. I mean, Vala will give you that extra burst damage going into that Q-Bolt, especially as it continues to go. Nice dodge of the root there by Anubarak, but we'll see how this plays out. Q-Build Vala, the reason I said that is because we're talking about Anubarak, and he has that built-in spell armor. Yes, it's going to do really well for the race, but you already have Malthel, you already have Iron Fist, Karazim. You need to have some type of sustain, and you mentioned Anubarak's health pool is lower. It's only 1,900-something base health now, and he's susceptible to auto attacks and that persistent damage. So I would have loved to have seen that. I don't blame him for going into Q-Build, but we'll see how that plays out if these team fights do become prolonged.
Yeah, it's a good diversity right there. All right, so Bun Bun. Position Lauda already just charging up his Howling Blast quest there. Risotto going to be able to pull back out as well with another borrow charge. Top lane wise, it looks like a pretty easy lane there for Malthel.
Yeah, Malthel against Brightwing.
See, if he went Thrall, top lane would have been easy.
Get the spray down there, baiting it out, and you can see the stun. Bun Bun, though, is able to dash away. Good heads-up play there to stay alive.
Taking a page out of the best Karazim player's book. We all know who that is. Anyway, 2-2 right here, equal in terms of level. And
is or was?
Oh, I think was.
Shout out to Mary Day, retired as of a few weeks ago.
All right, so here we have the root going in. And you can see that the support set is already in position. Zessen taking a lot of damage already from the front line. But Melthil is not in this fight, and he is just doing the poke damage up north.
Yeah, this is what they're going to do. They're going to try and split it up. They recognize they have that killer potential. They also sent Vala to the top, so that race is going to be heavily in favor of Playstomp here.
Okay, so Perez coming back in, some right clicks going out, but doing minimal damage. Meowpork very aggressive with the bite there, but still currently favoring Playstomp.
We're going to see the race. You see about 1,800 point lead there, and they are just ripping through this Immortal.
This is the beauty of Melthil.
Wow.
Okay, so I guess the Q build kind of worked out a little bit better in that
Definitely
sense.
does when you got that much of a lead. My goodness.
All right, so it looks like the strategy here looks a little bit split. Uther's going top lane. They may actually be looking at just allowing Immortal and a solo Melthil to push in a little bit while the rest of the team's top lane. This is interesting strategy. Sadia wants to stay alive.
I think they recognize they're not going to get a ton of value. You have Greymane, you have Li Ming committed to the defense. And I think this is actually really good recognition by Playstomp is that all of your ranged defense, all of your decent defense is going to be defended against that Immortal. So you just split 4 people up. You can take an entire wall here before anybody responds. Per's like, wait a minute, one more. I got this. All right, now I'm gone.
Okay. You see the rotation coming in. Risotto spotting out Bun Bun. Perez going to be fine. Bit of the Hungering Arrow coming out. Risotto misses the stun. Lauda comes in. Decides not to use the Howling Blast, but still a little bit of a trade going now. But bottom lane, though, some exchange going on between Hiskoa and Zessen. They're both going to be fine. Hiskoa coming out slightly a little bit worse off.
Risotto's like, oh, let me go up here. We're going to sneak in on here. And Lauda's like, hey, guys, I'm actually right here in this bush. Like, you're not going anywhere because I can see you.
Yeah. Very good. I mean, Lauda is still a very accomplished tank player. At the end of the day, the way he plays, very aggressive, but still, you could tell that he keeps all the blind spots secured, and he makes the best out of any position. Except he could do better with his skill shots.
Heavy contention here over that top camp. Neither team is prioritizing that. All the while, we do see Rhaegar and Greymane picking up their Shaman camp pretty early here, not timing around the objective, obviously trying to get an advantage elsewhere beforehand.
Okay, Squaw's going to take a little bit of a damage here from Zessen, but will be able to pull back out. Zessen, man, this guy, I think he changed role a little bit earlier. He was playing the tank for the team, but now he's playing the melee flex, so that's interesting to see.
I don't mind the invade on the camp here, but if I'm on the side of Meowpork, I'm giving this up, and I'm going to get a head start on this Immortal. If they had dipped out earlier, they would already have a lead on a team that has better race than you. And now we're going to see Greymane go over, and both teams going to dive in here since it's on their enemy side. They're just going to fall in and shoot through.
Oh, yeah, it's way faster. But still about 3,000 HP up in terms of a lead here for Meowpork. And immediately you could see them pull away because of the fact that the top camp is going to push against them. Risotto with some stuns going out there, but not going to be very effective. And it looks like Playstomp just doesn't care.
Not at all, but the roots coming in is going to lock everything down. They're going to try and push there. Risotto diving that back line, and in return, we do see Playstomp. They're willing to fight right now, Babel. But instead, Arth is going to be the first to fall. Karazim next. Is TNK going to go down? He is.
And it's a 5-man team wipe. Much unexpected there.
What, did Li Ming just go up and...
Yeah, shit it. She's
spray and all.
She's spraying all. Look at that. Look at that Li Ming spray. Perfect loadout.
Keep spraying. It's like, look, you get the kill. Your team gets the wipe. You know that camera's on you. So nobody else sees that, right? The only people that see that is your team. Nobody else sees that. So you are just basically like flexing for the camera right now. Sun's out, guns out right now.
All right. 9 against 7. Meowpork in a good position. Playstomp deciding to go up to the top lane to apply some form of defense. Apparently the last fight went south because of the fact that they were willing to take the fight in a really enclosed area where the Immortal was. And now you see the Arthur's bottom lane against solo Brightwing.
He's still spraying. He's just like, what are you going to do about it? We're about to be 10 the minute this goes down. And Risotto recognizes that. If they had got that fort, he would have landed that stun. You could have seen an instant follow-up there. Instead, they're going to look for another opportunity. This Immortal No longer has a shield, about 50% health left, but the threat of 10 can't really push out into this.
Okay, set, yeah. Not in a good spot. His squad goes in. Emerald win, is it going to be enough? Yes, it is.
Feels bad. You committed 2 people to the gank bottom, which means you're going to give up an entire keep wall.
I
They're
don't
going
think,
in.
yeah. I don't think they're going to be able to get any more value out of this Immortal, but they could be able to get some poke value here. Risotto, just buying some time with a Force coming out, just, again, to reposition the team.
The changes, Babel, to Fury the Ancient Kings for Uther from down to 50 armor. I've seen more Hand of Protection, a.k.a. Cleanse for Uther, today than I probably have ever. A little bit surprising. I mean, you've got Brightwing, you've got a Nubarak, things like that, but maybe the Cleanse is what you need to take care of that Polymorph.
I think it could be crucial, but then we have a replay. Well, the fort's going to go down, so no contest whatsoever. Let's go into the replay. Let's see what happened just now. All right, this is the fight.
Yeah, Risotto just landing here. You're going to see here in a minute. He's like, wait a minute. There he goes. 3-man into that. Nicely done.
All right, but it is the Office that's completely out of position. TNK trying to do something there as well. 2 supports, man. It's just 2 supports.
The one thing Arthas did get, he was probably like, look, I got to stack up this level 4, so I'm just going to find as many people as I can, press this and go in. I think that might have been one of the things there. We got the party bush going in here, but they don't have 10 yet. There's 10. They're going to see if they can bait this out. Risotto, however, going in, Babel.
All right, the stun not going to connect. Bun Bun pulls back out once again. Whip of Force coming up, but does nothing. There goes the Tormented Soul, but an immediate web onto the Melthill. This is going to come back out. His squad still buying some time. Risotto now with that extra damage. The Reaper's Mark's going to be on, and he does go down. Sadie, unfortunately, not really sure what he was trying to do in the background there, but Scarrick, we all know he is just continuing on the spray.
Emerald win in the back. I think he might have been thinking, hey, I got a blink heal. Wait a minute, wrong button. But the fact that leaving us still spraying back did nothing. Still spraying.
It's almost like a point already. So here we can almost be sure that Playstomp should be able to get this next Immortal.
All right, we've got a huge advantage here for Playstomp. Now both teams going to drop back, and this is perfect timing. It's over here, but you just say, walk right over here. The other team is committed. It's just a race. And Playstomp already so far ahead, baby.
Yeah. Oh, insane amount of damage on that Immortal, though. Okay, so Meowpork having lowered the Immortal HP down to about 30%. That means a 30% shield. And you have the Meanest pushing out. Unfortunately for them, the lane's kind of pushed out for Meowpork, which means that they will not get much value, especially if the Immortal's going to spawn on this lane. And Playstomp, man, they know they got a small window to make the magic happen.
Yeah, they're trying as best they can. 13 is also picked up for Meowpork, so they still have that advantage. And we should see the fort wall fall. I'd be really surprised as Zessen able to walk out of that stun. The Wave of Force pushing them back. I mean, Meowpork mitigating a lot of damage here.
All right, they decide to go into the Abyss. Probably just don't want to take a fight one talent tier down. They want to try and find another objective on the map. Probably a party bush, I think. Yep, it looks like one. Lauda.
It's gonna get.
The question is, does Risotto know? Okay, he sure knows now, but he missed all the skill shot.
Oh, everybody just press your buttons all at once.
This is a typical example of what happens when you hit the panic button. Everyone just use something right there.
Well, still trying to get to 13, which they should be able to do before the next Immortal phase, but we're going to see priority to go down and try and get that experience. They should be able to take this down, recognizing that they saw the enemy team going up towards that camp. Give up the camp. Dude, it's just his objective to spray anywhere and everywhere on the map.
It could be because there are 2 other Thai players on Playstomp.
Who sees those sprays other than us and his teammates? Is that how you communicate? Team, I got this. That's a keep.
Yeah, it's a keep. Very nicely done. The root connecting on 3. His squad goes in. Tormented Soul. Nope.
Oh my. The Beatles finished that off, Babel. The Beatles.
Well, that's not how I would like to remember Anubarak, but well, still effective regardless. Immortal is going to spawn in just under 20 seconds now. And Playstomp still has yet to find that magic.
because those camps were picked up during the middle of the Immortal phase last time, they're not necessarily available to pick them up now. There's still just over a minute left, but we see this interesting positioning.
This is
Trying to play around Fog of War. They're playing around Fog of War right now. You can see the dark zone right there. They're going to look. Lauda coming in on the backside. He does get it locked down, but the Emerald win. Perfectly timed there, but now we have teams on opposite ends here.
All right, so we have Reaper's Muck on 2, but no space for his squad to go in at all. Great win there by Sedia. Still 45 seconds cooldown is a long time.
See Perez throwing out that Q, still trying to finish that talent, and now they're going to turn to look for a fight. They are on an advantageous spot for them to try and defend, but the poke value of Li Ming there. And the cheese spray and the Li Ming spray.
You can bet that it can see that spray now.
They definitely can see that.
So somehow we still have Hiscoa trying to put some extra damage on the Immortal, but not going to achieve anything as well. Risotto gets the mark on himself, the Reaper coming in, but Malthil not in a good spot to just apply more pressure. A Misery Avenger in the background, but Lauda completely sustaining in the background there. You see also the extra Divine Palm, not the best one, but Bun Bun still stays alive somehow. And Deathstroke going into spot there by Lauda. Lauda is also going to go down. Hiscoa now pulling back out from the wrong direction. Will be able to just get out from the right one, but falls at the end. And this looks like Meowpork right here.
They're going to have very, very strong Immortal. Not only that, but catapults. If that had actually gone on, the catapults would have started to do damage. But now we're looking at 2 keeps going down, a potentially game here with this Punisher.
All right, so 3 level lead for Meowpork, a lot more convincing than I thought. Would definitely translate into a keep here. It may just be game. I think it could be a game here.
If you're trying to end, though, Li Ming went Diamond Skin, locking Diamond Skin in over that Mirror Ball, which is basically siege potential, race potential, damage potential, but afraid of the potential dive and kill. So I don't know if they're committed to ending. They definitely are going to try here because this Immortal is super shielded and super healthy.
Yep, first Hollow going in. Lauda finally completing the quest right there.
That should be game.
Yeah, it's game. All right, nice stun going in. Where's the Cocoon? It's going to come on just a bit. There we have the background Cocoon already connecting. Lauda completely out of position. Great Emerald win by Sedia. Sedia goes on to the front line. And a stun a little bit too early on the Perez. Perez will be able to pull back out, but his squad not so lucky. Goes down. TNK now. Uther, one man on a mission, but not sure if he can actually do anything. Becomes foot bait there. Pops the Vine Shield. And still goes down at the end. All right, it's game. Ladies and gentlemen, game 1 goes to Meowpork in convincing fashion. 3-level lead. And mind you, this is Playstomp we're talking about. This team that just were on par with Resurgence. Very close games. And here you have Meowpork just showing who's the new boss.
Must be because of their logo.
Pretty sure it's because of the spray.
Because of the spray, the Li Ming spray. Yeah, that actually looked really good. 10 kills to 1 was the final kill count there. Yeah. And it all started with that fight that we saw the replay on at the beginning of the game where they fight underneath there. Good play from Risotto. You know, there was the good Howling Blast on the side of Arthas, locked everybody in. It's just they didn't have the proper follow-up. They're fighting under the enemy team's Immortal. And you could see the stuns, the lockdowns there worked out really well. I was just really impressed. Meowpork, it seemed like they were in control the entire time. I mean, they gave up a little bit, it seemed, at times, but they knew what they were giving up the same way that, you know, they gave up their fort at the bottom, they got the camp top, and then went down and took the keep. And at that point, it's very difficult to come back from. I was just super impressed with Meowpork throughout that game.
I think the question there to ask is, without the Tormented Soul, because back then was still way early on in the game, right? Malthil doesn't have enough range damage. You know, he's probably just going to hit you a little bit, Soul Rip, spam that Q button, hit you a bit again, Death Shroud once in a while, look good. That's all. He's not going to do much.
It was one of the main reasons, like, you get mad value out of Q build volley. Serious mad value. But when it came in the team fights, you could see that the Q would be used. It would be used onto a Nubrak, and he was trying to get questing talents at certain points, but he had Nerubian armor, as well as the spell armor that he already has. The Q's not getting any value, and if you're auto-attacking a team that's built around spell armor, including the Brightwing pickup, the Brightwing has the spell armor as well. So now you're trying to poke down with spell damage against the team with all kinds of spell armor. And that was a little bit surprising to me, and it makes sense. Vala, you always go Q-Build. It seems natural, but there's certain times when you got to look at your opponents. You understand you have a Malthel. That's plenty of race damage.
Yep.
And if you're not going to get that, you got to find a way to win a team fight. You can't just be one-dimensional. I think that's one of the things they felt that they could race. They ended up losing basically every team fight there.
Yeah, and even the Karazin got no value at all from that fight. Still, regardless, game 1 is done. Meowpork came up on top. They're now going to game number 2, where Meowpork has decided the battleground to be Brex's holdout. This is a map that I think only they play.
It's an interesting one. Like when we watch the Korean teams play, they ban it out. When we watch a lot of regions play, they ban it out. The only region that we know traditionally plays that is North America, but we are not in North America. We are in SEA, and Meowpork says, "We'll see what we can do." You talked about running the double support here, and we've seen kind of a shift in the macro play in terms of the way that teams are doing this. It used to be the 1-4 split all the time, and now we see a lot of teams, especially with this double support strategy, they're going more of a 2-3 split. So long as your 3-man can withhold anything or sustain, you can try and win the 2-man up at the top and kind of control the pace of that. And then, of course, Brightwing is another hero that we'll have to talk about when we do get to the draft. Things like that are going to be things that we'll see how well they're going to be prioritized. And the fact that they've already busted out a Rhaegar Brightwing in game 1, I wouldn't be surprised if we see something similar in game 2.
Pretty sure not going to see the Lucio, but if you ask me, I would say that it's pretty possible to see Oriel, Rhaegar.
Ariel for sure. I think Ariel's going to be banned. There's no way I think Ariel gets through on this battleground. And if you do, that's
fair enough.
Ariel has no mana. No mana. And if you have infinite sustain on a place where you will always be fighting or skirmishing, it's not even like the clash of the team fights. You're just constantly skirmishing, and we're going to poke around. If we can get a kill, we'll try. But if not, Ariel eventually wins out. If you're going up against anybody that has any type of mana, outside of maybe a Malfurion, and if you don't have any AoE damage, maybe a Morales. But if you fall into that category of we're going to try and just slowly fight an Ariel, you're going to fight a losing battle most of the time.
I would love to see Genji, though.
Genji, we talked about flexing between lanes.
Yes.
This is the ultimate one. You just hop right over. You can be there in an instant.
Yep. This is actually a pretty good battleground for Genji, but I'm not so sure if both teams. I think maybe Risotto plays a little bit Genji, but he's the warrior player in that team, Meowpork. So, yeah. Unfortunately, this entire tournament, I've not seen Perez play his Kerrigan. He loves Kerrigan a lot, but we have not gotten a chance to see that.
She's in a weird spot in this meta.
Yeah.
She seems to perpetually be in a weird spot. I mean, they did make a change to her level 20.
Yeah.
So I mean, I guess if you get to level 20 with Kerrigan, you can get some value. That's the only change she's had in a long time, it feels like. But I mean, the different meta strategies, we're talking about 2-lane maps between Battlefield and Braxis, but it's almost like they're 2 completely different battlegrounds. Like, you cannot go without wave clear on this one. Gul'dan might even be that priority, especially if you have that RL. Gul'dan, the single best wave clear for the Zurich wave in the game. You might see a Sylvanas to try and push with something, if it fits into your draft.
Speaking of Gul'dan, we have not seen him at all.
He's in a weird spot. He's
again.
in a weird spot like Kerrigan in that he's fallen out of the meta in a lot of regions just because this dive with Greymane, with Anubarak, and getting the protection from Uther, things like that, and Genji especially, is that you might get the fear off, but if you don't get a kill while they're feared, they're just going to collapse right back on you, and you're in a bad spot.
I think it's really just the fact that Genji, as a new hero coming to the game, Uther also. And now that we have covered almost every possible ground for Brax's holdout, have you ever thought of Rexar?
I am perfectly fine with Rexar. I was actually talking with Fnatic about this when we were at the mid-season. I'm a big proponent for Rexar, especially when we talk about double warrior comps. Double warrior, it has such great control on the front line. Plus, you have great solo control if you need to. But I think that in certain elements in a team fight, he has a point-and-click, I don't want to say point-and-click stun, but Misha's stun, especially post-level 7, where you get the cooldown for every Misha auto attack, you can essentially have a stun ETC style, right, where it's like a huge width on there. You can control Misha, and it's basically every like 6 or 7 seconds, so long as you're getting the auto attacks with Misha. You get that cooldown on it for every auto attack. And so you have a really frequent stun to really try and control that. So we'll see as we are ready, Babel, I think, for the draft here.
All right, so here we go. Game number 2. The draft is on for Meowpork versus Playstomp. I want to see more sprays, man.
I think that after last game, it'd be a disappointment if we didn't get it. So we'll see. We are going to head in again. Brax's holdout. Ariel, man. First ban material or first pick?
Well, Depends on who's picking. Here we go. Most probably gonna be Playstomp with the ban here. Yep, there we go. They're the ones that. Sorry, Meowpork's the one that picked the battleground, so Playstomp should have the ban. The real question here is, if you don't ban the Oriole, then what other heroes do you ban? Do you ban out the Stitches?
Stitches, I think, obviously very prominent in the current meta, and we talk about how to play around objectives and how to play around certain areas, and this is one to where certain battlegrounds, the objective is going to have a lot going on around it, but Brax's holdout, you know exactly where they're going to be. You know exactly the general area that you can land skill shots, and if you can isolate people, then Stitches obviously sees a little bit higher priority.
Chromie. Alright, they want Oriole for themselves, so they ban out the Chromie. Meowpork here is going to ban out the Oriole, so Playstomp probably going to go with the Stitches here. It was first picked by Meowpork in the last draft, right? So,
and that's the thing, is that I would be a really big fan of Stitches. Giving up an Anubarak Uther is not that, I guess, condemning on this map. And then you could fall back. It's a really nice fallback option of Malfurion, who does really well. I love the first pick Stitches. So you have the fallback support of Malfurion. Hook into root, as long as you have the proper follow-up, you're coordinated with your team, you can have a lot of really good pick potential. And just getting one pick on this can mean the control of a beacon, so long as your solo laner, or depending on how you're approaching this, can hold it as well. And that could be the difference. One pick on this battleground can be the difference between a full Zerg wave and a continued fight.
and for Meowpork should be an Uther Genji. I think. I don't know.
The Genji, I absolutely love Genji. High priority. I mean, you cyber agility over wall, you press E to get over the next wall, and you're right there contesting the next beacon, helping that solo laner, turning the solo lane into a 2v1 and trying to turn the tide in your favor. So Genji does have that available to him. It just seems like a natural fit for an early pickup.
Yeah. But apart from that, what other strategies could it play? I don't know. Do they want to lock in Greymane early? No. I think Uther Genji is probably the best pick here. Yeah, we'll see. Okay, they want to go Greymane Anubarak again, which is a standard staple pick. They're just going for tier 1s.
I mean, Greymane, of course, you know, we talk about it time and time again, is that Stitches has the single highest base health pool in the game. Greymane has Cursed Bullet, so when we get to those later team fights, obviously that's going to help out quite a bit to start to rip through Stitches. But again, a Malfurion pickup, I would be really surprised. It's one of the pickups that I would like a Malfurion before the second ban. Okay. Just due to, they go into Brightwing.
Okay, so standard Malthil Brightwing again. Could be a deny against Satya, since Brightwing is a bit of a problem for them the last game. They were almost guaranteed 2 kills, but denied because of the Brightwing Emerald win.
The Brightwing also lends to the strategy we were talking about right before we started the draft, is that Brightwing can be in the top lane and in the bottom lane with that. Interesting. With that global, and can turn. That is an Uther ban, as opposed to picking up the Uther.
Okay. Yep, banning out the Uther instead. Probably doesn't want Playstomp to go with double support, which leaves them with a very restricted hero pool. We're talking about a possibility of Lucio here, because Aurel's gone, Uther's gone. We're talking about maybe double support Meowpork again, which may just be that Malfurion. I'm not sure if they want to run Malfurion, Hagar, and
I was about to say, are you ready for a Morales? I wasn't intending for it to be a ban. I was thinking that Meowpork, after banning the Uther, would be looking at a Morales.
Yep. But no. So we are now looking at. Do you think? I know they traditionally run 2 support, but what other supports are there? Are we talking about Tassadar? Are we talking about the possibility of having a Rhaegar Malfurion? I don't know, man.
I'd love a Malfurion pickup. I mean, Root's in the middle of all of this, and then you can go into the Moonfire build at level 1 just to get some extra help on the clear.
Yeah.
It's just very, very appealing. You can get the lockdown. You have the Anubarak. You have the Root. You have the Greymane follow-up. And again, Cursed Bullet post 10 will rip through Stitches. But if you can find anybody out, again, Brightwing, you know, depending on if they go second support, which it seems likely that they will,
Is it Rhaegar Mel? No.
Here's your Thrall.
All right. So I like Thrall a lot because he is going to be the solo laner here against Malthael. That's almost a guaranteed win, which will also means that there may not be a Genji getting picked up. Brightwing is more likely than not going to be the solo support. I like Malfurion on that Malfurion point though, because the Entangling Root is an automatic counter against Banelings, and Banelings does the most structural damage in the first wave of the Zug wave. So,
well, the other thing is because you go Strangling Vines at 7 and reduce the healing. And going against a Rhaegar, if that's a well-timed, it can reduce the healing of an Ancestral. So it's a good way to guarantee follow-up. I'd love a Kael'thas here. I know it's going up against an Anub'arak, but it gives you great clear. It gives you good, clear on the Zerg wave and on the minions. Plus, you can have good follow-up if you can get the burst damage. But again, going with a Brightwing, it means you're probably going another support. I don't know if Kael'thas has enough burst damage to rip through heroes.
Is it going to be a Tassadar? Probably. Oh, okay. So now we know why they banned out the Uther, because somebody probably can only play Karazim there. It makes no sense to pick Karazim in his drop, but anyway, they went for that because Brightwing is not a... I mean, Malfurion would have been a lot better support, so... Karazim, Vala, Brightwing, Malthael, and Stitches on the side for Playstomp. Meowpork to run out the draft is likely to pick up one more support, but if they don't, what other options will there be? A range damage dealer, probably Li Ming.
We've banned 3 supports. We've picked up 3 supports. I'd be 100%
Welcome
okay.
to SEA!
I'd be 100% okay with a Tassadar here. Just keep it simple. Run into the Tassadar. You have good wave clear with him. You've got good supplemental shields for a Greymane and a Anub'arak.
For me, it's either Tass or Malfurion. I still like Malf here. Maybe a little bit overkill, but I think nobody's gonna die. It's gonna be the Malfurion.
The fact that
We have been screaming about Malfurion since, like, halfway through the draft. I like how they picked it up at the end.
The fact that Malfurion didn't end up with the Stitches, and you don't really have the blow-up. Stitch is just going to be like, look, I've got good damage on my slam. I'll occasionally throw out a hook, cause a lot of disruption. But Brightwing, Karazim, Vala don't exactly scream to me, man, the minute that person comes in, they're dead. Like, it's just, it's going to be very difficult. It might force a team fight in which they'll have the advantage, but one of the things that you can do when you have an Anub'arak on the other side is the minute they try and force the fight, you just burrow in with an Anub'arak. You can go in, if Thrall comes in. We talked about Earthquake. Sundering obviously has seen some changes as well. I'd love to see a Sundering. The minute you get the hook in, we might try and see a Gorge. It's something that we actually saw Fnatic pull out at the midseason brawl, although it was a different strategy, a different time, was you get the hook into the Gorge, and then you Emerald Wind to push their targets away so that they can't fight and dive on there. So it's a strategy. It's a little bit weirder on Braxis, but needless to say, neither of these teams care about the meta. They're going to do whatever they want. And
it's not about a team, J-How. It's just the region has got no meta.
The Thrall pickup I love. I actually got to cast this just this past week during Open Division against some very top-tier teams in our Open Division. Thrall does really well in the solo lane against Malthael.
Yes, which is why I love to have Thrall. Anyway, here we go. Game number 2. Meowpork against Playstomp. Zazan going to be playing as the Thrall, Meowpork, the player, onto Rhaegar. Sadia will be the Malfurion, Excarric onto the Greymane, and Risotto will be your Anub'arak.
On the right side for Playstomp, we will see Perez on Vala, Hiskoa on Malthael, Bun on Brightwing, Lauda on Stitches, and TNK on Karazim.
All right, so they were given the opportunity for the Malfurion, but they did not go for that. Let's see what other compelling reasons do they have for the Karazim.
I really like the Moonburn pickup by Malfurion.
Oh, yeah, definitely. Good value against the Zug waves.
Has no intention of walking anywhere out there with the Stitches hook. Instead, just stay behind the wall and spray instead.
Yeah. They are going 2-3. Malfurion and Thrall on top lane is almost guaranteed to pick up at least, I think, a tower early on. Risotto, that's the worst target to hook in because he does have Burrow Charge. Still a lot of damage, and he's getting blocked by his teammate. Once again, guys, got to move out of the way.
The Vala in this setup can help clear. You have this 4-man, so you have to win this lane very hard, else you're going to have to try and match that. You do have Brightwing who can go up, but the way that we see this now, again, you don't have to have a ton of follow-up, but you just push in, and you can now start to take out ammo, and this is something that, while the strategy does work with a 3-2, you give up this type of pressure, and I really like the way that Playstomp just recognizes that. They don't fold under the pressure of the 3-2 and think, oh, we need to go up there. Instead, now we see Meowpork is going to go down, and Malfurion is on his way down because they could not dominate that 2-man. That is the difference with these compositions in the 3-2 split.
Malthil still, well, all he needs to do is just land the Death Shroud, and I think he's going to be fine. Able to sustain through quite well. I don't think they were not able to dominate. I just don't think they're able to push in against a Malthil. Still very difficult. Beacon's going to stop in just about 10 seconds now, Jihao.
Yeah, but this is the thing, is that you have Brightwing and you have Kerosene, and you just see Vala just shoving auto attacks at you with you cannot do anything. Now, because there's almost no ammo left in that tower, you can just force a fight and continue to press in. Risotto going in with no escape to Polymorph, and Perez, man, he is on fire right now. Just Vala auto-attacking everybody. I talked about this in last game on BOE. Go into the auto-attack. Pressure the Anubrek because the Q build isn't there. You can get the pressure onto him, and he is dominating right now.
He is, and that's, I mean, probably you're right. Maybe he listened to you a little bit too late. One game too late, but still better late than ever. Perez doing a pretty good job there. It looks like a pretty easy Zug wave here for Playstomp.
I mean, they just shove it in. They have their 4-man. They just walk in. They do whatever the hell they want. Meowpork trying to walk away after the Polymorph. Risotto, that's what you can do against the dive, is that the minute you get hooked in, you just dive back in, disrupt a lot of that, save your primary target. But we're talking about 2 minutes, 50 seconds in, and already a Zerg wave, and it is just bottom fort. This is insane.
Yeah, a little unfortunate that a Zerg wave for Playstomp's going to spawn on top, but the hook on the Meowpork though, and you already see a dead Rhaegar. Lauda on point with his stitches so far.
This is textbook right here. This is clinical. Playstomp is just dominant. It's early, but we're talking about a level and a half lead, a 100% Zerg wave that's just now being cleared up. You're forced to respond to everybody up there. This is what's scary, right, is that you force a response. If you're Meowpork, you're forced to defend top, but you overcommit to the defense. And now you've lost the bottom fort. So now you're a level and a half down. You've lost your bottom fort. And it's guaranteed that the next Zerg wave will be bottom. And now you start looking at if it gets stalled out, if we lose the race to 10. And now all of a sudden we have level 10 versus, say, level 8 or 9. And now we have the bottom keep being pushed in with heroics. That's a scary prospect. It's really long-term. But Meowpork has got to try and do a little bit to get a pick or two to get the Zerg wave or to turn this fight. Yeah. Else it's going to get out of control.
I hate it that Thrall's not able to do anything here in the top lane, but here we have. Okay, the stun onto Yuskoa, but still no fallout from Zess, and even if they did, the cavalry is just around the corner. Bottom lane, you still have the Mercenaries camp getting pushed out already by both Brightwing and Malfurion. Top lane wise, that we have, Brightwing is going to just teleport back up here, and Malthil goes down bottom.
Ooh. Brightwing came up. Brightwing could have stayed down there. They ended up swapping Malthil, and Lauda is just like, keep spraying. Wait till I land this hook. Just keep spraying.
If you land the hook.
He's going to get him. I bet he sprays him back. That's what I'd do.
Spray him back.
You spray me and I land that one hook, I get that kill. Oh, it's that sweetness right there.
Oh, they're looking for the spot once again. Oh, yeah, so close. Whew. All right, so bottom lane, Thrall against Malthil, still very, very even in that sense. Should have gone a little bit more favorable for Thrall. Man, this is not going to be easy. And once again, a 4-man's got no response.
Hooks available. Hooks available.
That's a free one. Still, lack of damage. Lack of damage. Devour onto Xcarrick. Slam again.
Minion wave's going to get cleared. Look for the hook to go out. Okay, here it goes. One more minion.
There we go. Oh, got
nice stun in return. Nice stun. Yeah, see, a little bit, the stun disrupted that. They have the polymorph. Lauda is trying to walk away, but that's the problem with Stitches, is that it's very difficult once you're in to get out.
Okay, so All of a sudden, Meowpork's trying to find some value, but bottom lane, though, you have the Beacon, 1v1 fight. He's going up against Zessen. Here comes the support. Brightwing's in the vicinity, and Zessen will go down. He's go out, great pick off there. But Rhaegar's just around the corner, so you don't want to take that corner there. Lauda trying to pull back up a 3 versus 4 here. Nope, not really 4 yet. Rhaegar's still a little bit far behind. The hook onto Sadia, no level 10, no Twilight Dream. Do not pass go, do not collect $200, and please drop dead. So Perez will take him out nicely. TNK in a spot behind. Xcary dropping a little bit. Those right clicks from Perez just so painful.
He's just, there's nobody that's punishing him. There's the hook. And the cleanse.
Good cleanse.
Whew. Thrall, see him on the minimap. He's going to capture the bottom beacon. Malthel is going to have to try and reclaim that. But I tell you what, we're not very far from 10. This is the area that I was talking about, is that you're now going to run the risk of facing heroics with a Zerg wave because you can't really defend it. And you're going to have to hope that Greymane and team hold, because outside of that, you're full melee and then Malfurion.
Actually, I think if he got it, it would have been an extra 10%, so about 64, but regardless. Rotation still coming in, and they're playing a little bit. Well, the good news is Meowpork is buying time, right? Whatever form of time they're buying is still good. Nice hook on the Risotto, but he does have the barrel charge. Rena Vengeance just a second too slow. And bottom lane, you still see that 2-man pressure coming in from both Zessen and Sadia. His squad gets a little bit of backup here.
They just need to cap the beacons. You know, they have 10. You know, we're going to see the response to the minimap. They're pushing in to reclaim that top. Recognize that Brightwing shifted out. So, again, you have to play like this ping pong game, and you have to play it very safely if you're on the side of Meowpork.
All right. Close. If that hook connected, it would have been a kill.
My
Risotto
goodness.
pulling back. Perez, man, this guy is just, he really just has got a lot of courage.
Speaking of courage, Meowpork just walking in, biting anything he finds. Well, this is going to be a 100% Zerg wave.
Bottom lane. This is the call right here.
Look at that, man. That's terrifying.
Yeah, late game Zerg. So 11 against 9 now, and you have got Lauda. No slam slow yet, but still Perez popping in the Rain of Vengeance. Lauda looking for the hook, does not get any value out of that. Binling's just going directly to the structures. Will get taken out. A hook on the Risotto. It does have to run back in here. The Entangling Root getting a lot of value, J-How.
It's getting not as much as we want, but the Zerg wave pushing in. They're going to take keep wall, and again, you got to keep an eye on the hook. The minute this minion wave goes down, the good thing is level 10 is going to be here for Meowpork. They might opt to try and turn this fight. This Zerg wave is down. They might try and dive here. Risotto's got to make the goal. Now that the hook's out, you don't have that out. There it goes, the dive in the back.
Just go out with the Tomato Soul. Unfortunately, will go down still, and the Earthquake coming out already slow onto Playstomp. Just insane. His Koa with the quick Divine Pump coming in from TNK still may not be enough to make a difference. Xcary going down very quickly, but Greymane decides to pick off the Kerosene first. Loda pulling back once more. His Koa and the Spray Dream is still alive. His Koa going on to Meowpork, but he will go down, and it's a 5-man team wipe. Meowpork is officially back in this game.
That's all they had to do. I mean, you recognize that. If you are on the side of Playstop, the minute that hook misses, the minute it misses, you back out. You have no business being there. The Zerg wave's down. You now are facing heroics on a team that can dive you. And you have your retreat point is a long ways away. And your chance at engagement is no longer there. That is your one form of a hard engage, is a hook. And that engage is basically pulling somebody to you. The minute that missed, they should have backed out. They stayed too long. I said it was going to happen. It ended up happening, and it ended up being that 5-man team wipe. And I tell you, man, like it's the subtle things of recognizing your composition. I've got this one engage. It doesn't work. Back out. You just took a keep wall. You've got a 2-level lead. Just back out. And the fact that they are willing to commit to that fight, it just shows the mentality of my team name is Playstop, and all I want to do is team fight. That's it. That is what we've seen from them. It's not bad. But if you're trying to hit that top tier, then we can see.
All right. They have got that Emerald win, not used. So let's check out a replay now while we're in a pause to see exactly why it was not used.
Watch. You'll see the minions clear. The hook goes out, and they walk forward. And Risotto's just like, thank you. Thank you very much. I'm going to walk in. And then the earthquake value there just wrecking people. Perez on the backside is doing his best to auto-attack, but he's moving so slow through all of that, and they just try and fight the entire time. We see Xcoric just like spray.
Yeah.
Xcoric. He just sprays. He doesn't even care. He's like, I'm in the middle of a team fight. I have 10% health. and
all I'm going to do is spray. Man, this guy's living the dream. Spraying everywhere he goes.
That's confidence at a whole new level. You're in the middle of a team fight. It's not even over yet. The team fight is not even decided. You could still die. Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter.
Even if I go down, I'm going to spray going down.
That might be the cause of you going down, though. It's like, well, I mean, I think you just died. I mean, he's going to be punished for that eventually, but
eventually,
I love it. I mean, it's entertaining as hell to watch, but it
do you think he's going to spray if he does win here and play against Daily Keatons? Do you think that's going to happen?
I'm sure he'll spray. I'm sure he'll be punished. I mean, he may not be sprayed while punishing because he'll be like, I probably can't spray right now because I'll die. But right now, he's got a full fight on his hands here with
Playstomp.
Meowpork and Playstomp.
Yeah, so clearly Playstomp had a bit of a lead there, threw it away. The main reason why the Emerald Wing wasn't being used was because it's just the Twilight Dream, man. It's just that. Great amount of value. Bright Wing, I think, wasn't really paying attention to her positioning, which is a bit of a problem.
Try and get that max value. Who presses R first when both of them require them to walk in a melee?
Still, it baffles me. You know, Earthquake. You know that they have got a Earthquake. You know it's not going to be possible to really, take a fight in the Earthquake or even try and walk out of the Earthquake. So why were you there in the first place? You have got enough value, like you said. The hook should not even be thrown out. I don't even think it's possible to try and land a hook in a position. What you gonna do? You land a hook on one target. The Cocoon's gonna come out. The Earthquake's gonna come out. Twilight Dream's gonna come out. You still have to pull back. It's just to recognize the fact that you've got no more business being there, like you nicely put out. So, unfortunately now, it seems like we are waiting for reconnection on one of the players. So,
we are going to take we're having some technical issues on the player side, so we're actually going to go to a short break.
Right.
So we're going to be back as quickly as possible. So don't go anywhere. These should be resolved hopefully pretty soon, and we'll be back with the conclusion of Meowpork versus Playstomp.
Okay, welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. Apparently, the game just restarted here. Just getting an update if we are actually expecting Xcari. Oh, is it Perez?
It's Perez.
Okay,
and
he's not.
He's going to be. We're going to have a Volabot. It's going to just, unfortunately, had some connection issues, unable to resolve. The time ran out. So, unfortunately, not going to be able to play unless he's able to reconnect, but it doesn't look like it's going to be the case. Regardless, right before the break, we had a team fight for Meowpork to start to turn this game around, and Playstop was dominating up until that moment, baby.
Yeah, and it's a little unfortunate to be playing from behind with a Volabot, but you know what some people say, that a bot does better than what a human does. So I'm excited to see what Volabot will bring us today.
We're going to find out as level 13 has been picked up here for Playstop. I don't know how aggressive they'll be. Obviously, it's good to have kind of a ranged hero ping that bot to try and keep control of it, make sure they don't go a little bit too aggro and dive in. As we see the Volabot's actually waiting to lock a talent.
All right. The hook missing from the back. Lauda already coming in with the flank. His Koa in position, but takes a bit of a beating. Pops to Manage Soul already, and we have Bambang coming out with the Emerald win. Karazim unlocks his Koa. Malthil is going to be back up, but Tormented Soul is already no more. His Koa still staying alive in the background there. The clan's coming in as well. Earthquake into play. Lauda pulling back to see Ancestral connecting. And Volabot is a disappointment here, but will go down. TNK again with another read and dash. Xcarrick still giving chase. Two more hit, but does not secure the kill there.
Sprays continue to go out, but again, getting that pick onto the Volabot. They now say that there's no damage and you don't have Emerald win, so they're going to make a play for the boss, and I like this call. It looks like they're going to be able to sneak it in. So nice pickup here, and the other thing is they're picking it up right at the time of the beacons, so they're going to have control of beacons and lanes right now.
Okay, they are not in a good spot. 3 versus 5 right here. TNK is going to try and pull back out. It's got one more charge on the read and dash. Nicely done. All right, there we go. All 3 consumed.
All right, we're going to see one beacon channeled here at the bottom, and look for a response to defend against this boss. It's not going to do a tremendous amount of damage so long as you have some type of soft response. So you should be able to defend the beacon as well as defend the boss there. I think giving up a Zerg wave is a lot more impactful than giving up a boss onto a fort.
All right, so the hook onto Meowpork, but does not have Gorge. It's a Butcher Ball Stitches, that's why. And if you hold that thought a little bit, Death Shroud onto Risotto, but no follow-up as well from his Koa. Now, playing for Volabot, it's not going to be easy. You have to be very careful not to overextend because the bot may not do exactly what he wanted to do. When you're pulling back, you know, the bot does not retreat first. That's the biggest flaw right there.
Well,
Bun.
Yeah, Zessin down at the bottom. Lauda is on the wrong side of this, trying to get value out of that putrid bile, but the Twilight Dream is going to hit multiple members, but the Rhaegar Ancestral is going to land. Stitches the first one down. And
his Koa now, the pump already on him, but is still not taking critical damage, and now having the pump expire, trying to pull back out, and Malthil's already gone. TNK with another read and dash gets out of there, but 2 for nothing exchange, and we have the Zerg wave coming in.
I tell you what, you know, you always see these Twilight Dreams, and then you get past 13, you can get a little bit more aggro with your positioning. You just ice block. Well, Malfurion says, nope, I'm going Life Seed. That is not something we traditionally see, but right now seems to be working out. Babel, this Zerg wave pushing hard and quick.
This could be game right here. Unfortunately, no Perez on the Vala means that Playstomp playing a little bit at a losing shot change of the stick, whichever way you want to call it. But anyway, Lauda with the ball going out. Meowpork coming into position. Once again, Death Shroud onto Risotto, but still no follow-up whatsoever. And the Zerg wave now getting addressed a little bit, one at a time, in fact. Outroll the second one knocking on the Lauda. And then we have Anubrag on the 4-man stun. The Emerald win, buying some space. Lauda just fine. He hooks the target in. Not sure really why, but the stun still connecting the back line there. The Vine Pump coming in, but he manages to make back home. And the core will drop. 20% left, and it's game, ladies and gentlemen, after 15 minutes of break. We have Meowpork winning this series 2-0.
And it all goes back to the one team fight that we had at the bottom keep. I was so impressed with the way that they turned it around because it was not looking good. And then Meowpork they said, well, we're still not a bad team. They took a fight and they never let go after that.
Yeah, very nice position for Meowpork to be in. Of course, we had a replay of that fight just now. In case you guys forgot, it's the one where the hook went out. They overstayed their welcome, the standard story of don't be too greedy, respect your opponents a little bit. And thereafter, now we have Playstomp going down to the lower brackets, in which that they will be playing against teams that will lose today, or have lost today. Meowpork goes on undefeated into the winner bracket finals, where they will face defending champions Daily Kittens, and it will be an exciting series.
That's something to look forward to. The good thing is it's double elimination, so even if you lose there, you'll still have a way back.
Exactly.
But nevertheless, getting that advantage in the winner's bracket, that's something, as a fan of Heroes, like that's the dream. Like that's the matchups you look forward to. Whether you're a commentator, whether you're a fan in general, those are the matchups that you want to see. You want to see the best of the best, and we'll see that, I believe, tomorrow. Where's that today? Are we finishing the winner's bracket today?
Yeah, we are.
Okay,
we
so
are.
we're finishing the winner's bracket today.
Yep.
Spicy.
Spicy. And just a bit of a insider information from the brackets of the first qualifier last weekend. We had Meowpork up against Daily Kittens in the finals as well. It was 2-1.
2-1. That's
it
was weird because it wasn't out there, right? I was in the midst of traveling, looking to see. It wasn't online, but
enjoying the sights from the plane.
enjoying the sights. That's right. But either way, I think we will be getting into that soon. But nevertheless, Meowpork looking strong, turning things around. But I think when I see Playstomp, if they just pull the reins a little bit,
Yeah.
I think they have a good chance of making their way back in.
I'm excited for Playstomp because they just beat Resurgence. Previously, they were the Eastern Clash representatives from Southeast Asia, which means they were champions before. If they can beat Resurgence, they can definitely just work their way around Meowpork. We saw some dominating performance in game number 2. The early game was right there, but unfortunately just some slight little mistakes, so you just need to tune in right a little bit, and I think that Playstomp should be having an even better day tomorrow. But now we're all about Meowpork up against Daily Kitten, and this is going to be it for me. I will not be casting the next series, so in case you don't hear from me again, you'll hear from me tomorrow.
We'll find a way. We'll work in.
Yeah.
Work in. But either way, we are going to go to a short break as we get the team set up for the winners bracket finals with Meowpork versus Deadly Kittens coming your way. Stay tuned.